All right, today we're going to crack open a bit of a time capsule from the 1980s. But inside, you won't find a pop song or a movie. Instead, you'll find a blueprint, a really powerful guide to leadership and building communities that actually last, written by the very people who pulled it off.
You know, it's the ultimate question, right, for anyone trying to build something. A company, a community, anything. How do you make it stick around? Well, the answer might just be hiding in this incredible story of a youth movement in 1980 Singapore that grew so fast they had to write down their own secret recipe for success. So, our guide for all of this? It's this small book, published back in April 1989. You can think of it as a snapshot, capturing the entire philosophy of this movement right at its peak. Now, the book was originally published in Tamil, and its title gets right to the heart of what they were trying to do.
It translates to Some Thoughts on Societal Change. And that's what's so cool about this. It wasn't just some academic theory. This was a real, tangible model for creating positive change that lasts, and it was all forged in the real world.
Okay, so who were the brains behind this whole operation? Let's dive in and meet the organization that put this incredible philosophy into practice.
Let me introduce you to the TRC Youth Wing. Founded in 1982, this was way more than just a local club. From day one, it was designed to be a national movement for Indian youths in Singapore, with a clear mission: build leaders and serve the community.
And look, a vision is one thing, but these guys had results. I mean, the story of their growth is just staggering. Let's actually look at the numbers.
So picture this. It all kicks off in 1982.
And they start with just a handful of people, 30 members to be exact. A small, committed group.
But get this, by 1986, we're talking just 4 years later, that number explodes to 1,500. That's a 50-fold increase. I mean, how on earth do you even manage that kind of growth?
And here's the thing, this wasn't just some random viral trend. This was organized, intentional growth. They built a real structure, expanding to 12 different branches. That kind of organization doesn't just happen by accident. So what was their secret sauce?
Well, the secret wasn't a single charismatic leader. Nope, it was a system, a brilliant and really intentional cycle of leadership that was designed from the ground up to make sure the movement would outlast any one person.
Check this out. Here's the pipeline they built. A member would step up and lead as the chairperson for 1 year. But, and this is the crucial part, after their term, they didn't just walk away. They moved on to a board of advisors, where their new job was to find, guide, and nurture the next leader to take their place.
And you've got to understand, this wasn't just some dusty rule in a handbook. For this movement, this was everything. It was a core philosophy, a deeply held belief about what leadership is actually for.
And that really gets us to the heart of it all. The conviction that experienced leaders have a profound, almost moral duty to raise up the next generation.
There's this quote from their book that just nails it. For them, leadership wasn't about grabbing the spotlight and holding on for dear life. It was about earning that recognition and then, with great humility, stepping back so someone else could have their chance to grow.
And they were dead serious about this advisory role. I mean, listen to this. They saw these former leaders as the guardians of the movement's values, its actual moral consciousness. That is some heavy responsibility.
So the bar for these advisors, it was sky high. Their duty was to contribute more and to sacrifice more than they did even when they were in charge. Their number one job was to make sure the movement itself kept on thriving. But here's where it gets even bigger. This whole system, it wasn't just about keeping their own group going. It completely shaped how they saw their role in the wider world.
They were super aware that they were part of a bigger picture. They made a conscious choice to align what they did with the needs of Singapore as a whole. The thinking was, if you build a healthy community, you help build a healthy country.
And this, to me, is maybe the most incredible part. They knew they were onto something special. Publishing this book wasn't an afterthought. It was a deliberate move to share their blueprint, to offer up their successful model as a gift, a lasting contribution to their country. So when you put it all together, what this little book gives us isn't just a history lesson. It's a timeless blueprint. It's a model for building something that lasts, not because of one amazing founder, but because of a system fueled by the moral duty of one generation to lift up the next. Which, of course, leaves us with a big question for our own time. In our jobs, in our communities, in our countries, what are the moral duties that guide our leaders? And maybe more importantly, are we building things that will actually last long after we're gone?